This is a professional website and it was built in under 15 minutes with zero coding knowledge. And it's all done using the best no-code website builder available right now. Now, if you've been struggling to find a website builder that doesn't make your site look like it was made way back in 2010, or maybe you're tired of drag and drop tools that fight you more than they actually help, well, now you're about to see why so many developers and freelancers are switching platforms. And most people think that you need to choose between simple builders that look amateur or maybe complex platforms that even require a computer science degree. But what if there was a website builder that gives you complete design freedom with professional templates and the power to create pretty much anything that you can imagine? Well, there are over 100 no-code builders on the market right now, and they're all claiming to be the best, #1. But after testing everything, one platform really does consistently outperform, well, pretty much all of them. And it's not just for beginners either. Some of the biggest brands in the world, some that you might have heard of like Kroger, Glassdoor, and HelloFresh, well, they all use this exact system to power high traffic enterprise level sites. Now, today, I'm breaking down this platform and why it truly earns the title of best no-code website builder and why it is light years ahead of the competition. You're gonna see the three game-changing features that separate this platform from pretty much any other builder. And you'll also discover why responsive design actually matters more than you think. And finally, you're gonna learn the one critical mistake that makes most websites look unprofessional. So that by the end of this video that you're watching right now, you're gonna know exactly which platform to trust and how to build websites that look like they cost thousands of dollars, even if it's your first time, really your first time touching a web design tool. So let's go ahead and dive in. Now, I've added a special link to the best no-code website builder that we're gonna be using today in our video in the description down below, so make sure you go ahead and scroll down for it. Because a lot of people want to build a website, but we all get stuck before we even start. So how do you pick a template? Do you code something from scratch? Do you hire someone else to do it? And even when you open a website builder up, half of the time, it really feels all cluttered or outdated or too limited to really create anything professional. And that's why I use Wix Studio, one of the best no-code website builders available right now. It gives you the freedom and the control of high-end web development tools, but without all the complexity that other platforms like Webflow or WordPress all throw at beginners. So let's go ahead and open it up here and get the workspace ready. I'm gonna head into Wix Studio. I'm gonna click Start Creating, and then I'm gonna enter the main dashboard. Now, this right here is where Wix Studio really separates itself from older builders. As you can see, the interface is clean, it's modern, and it's built for real responsive web design, the kind you'd expect from professional freelancers, agencies, and professional designers. Now, compared to the classic Wix editor, this one feels like a completely different platform. It is more advanced, it's more flexible, and much closer to the tools used by top designers who build portfolio websites and client sites every week. Now, this blank workspace is where we're going to build our entire site from start to finish using features that genuinely make Wix Studio one of the best website builders for designers, for website builders, for freelancers, and one of the strongest really web development platforms if you want full creative control without having to touch any code. Now, one of the best parts about using Wix Studio is that, well, you don't have to start with a completely blank canvas, unless of course you really want to. A lot of people assume that building a professional website means that you have to design every section from scratch, but no, Wix Studio gives you access to modern website design templates that are already structured with clean spacing, smart layout hierarchy, and built-in responsive design patterns. It saves me a bunch of time, especially if we're still getting comfortable with the platform itself or shifting from other tools like Webflow, Squarespace, or Framer. So from here, the main Studio workspace, I'm going to create a new site. And Wix Studio pulls up a curated collection of templates. They're sleek, they're modern, and they are fully customizable. The kind of templates that you would expect from the best website builders for designers and for freelancers. Now I'm gonna scroll through a few of them here just to preview some of the layouts, since this is also a great way to spark ideas if you are planning a client website or you're just trying out a new freelance web design workflow. And after finding a template that matches the style that you might be going for me, I'm just gonna go ahead and simply click edit. And then the editor loads the full layout instantly, and now we've got our starting point here. It's a clean, professional canvas that's ready for customization, for branding, styling, and for building out the rest of the site exactly the way that I want. But before we start dragging things around and, customizing the page, it really does help to understand where everything actually lives inside of the editor. Now, a lot of beginners would jump straight into designing and then get stuck looking for a specific setting, whether it's maybe changing a font, adjusting the spacing here and there, or switching pages. But since Wix Studio is built to compete with the best no-code website builders for beginners and for freelancers, having a quick tour of the interface does make the entire process a lot smoother for us. So here on the left sidebar, you'll find all of our core controls. This is your pages, your CMS collections, your assets, and all of the components you can add to the site. Now, this is your main navigation hub, similar to maybe what you might have seen in more advanced web development platforms or tools used in a professional freelance web design workflow. Now, up here at the top, we have our main toolbar, and this is where your responsive breakpoints live: desktop, tablet, and mobile, along with layers, alignment controls, some grouping tools, and everything you need to manage your layout like a real pro, of course. And if you've ever wondered how to build a responsive website, again, without having to touch any code at all, this toolbar is where the magic begins. And here on the right side, you'll see the inspector panel. Now, this is where almost all the real customization happens. Here, you can adjust spacing, the layout rules, typography, the colors, the shadows, and even more advanced behaviors if you want to design at the same level as top website builders for designers, or if you're planning to deliver full client website design walkthroughs as part of your service. Okay, so once you understand how these panels work together, the whole editing process will become a lot easier. Wix Studio is no longer like a drag and drop builder. Not anymore. It definitely looks and feels like a design tool, the kind that you would expect from the best responsive website builders on the market. Now, one thing people underestimate a lot when building a website is just how different it can look on every kind of different device. Because something that looks perfect on a laptop screen can turn into a completely chaotic layout on a phone. But this is where Wix Studio really separates itself from other no-code builders, because it treats responsive web design as a core feature, not something you fix at the end. It's one of the big reasons people consider it to be the best responsive website builder for freelancers, for agencies, and for actual designers. Up in the toolbar, I'm going to click through the device previews: desktop, then tablet, then mobile. Now, as we switch between them, you can see Studio automatically adjust the spacing, the stacks, the alignment, and the layout behavior so that our design still works on every screen size. Now, this kind of automated responsiveness is usually only found in more advanced web development platforms like Webflow or Framer, but Studio makes it accessible without any coding at all. So if something looks off, maybe an image is too big on mobile or a heading needs tighter alignment, we can just make small tweaks inside the breakpoint here. Now, these quick adjustments will help polish the layout without having to rebuild the page 3 separate times. It's exactly what we want when learning how to build a responsive website, or when you're delivering websites to clients who do expect everything to look perfect, as they should, on every device. And this is also why Wix Studio stands out for modern website design. Responsiveness isn't treated like an afterthought. Rather, it's built directly into the editor, which is a huge advantage if you're working as a designer or you're running an agency, or maybe like myself, you're simply trying to build professional websites without any code. All right, so a lot of websites, they look messy, not because the design is bad per se, but because the structure underneath is not organized. If you've ever dragged something across a page and then you watch the entire layout just kind of glitch, shift, or collapse, that's not really your fault or my fault, that's just the layout issue. And this is exactly why Wix Studio is considered one of the best no-code website builders for designers. It uses sections and containers and stacks in a way that feels more like a real website wireframe builder instead of a basic drag and drop tool. So to show you how it works, I'm going to add here a blank section to the page. Now inside that section, I'm going to drop in a container, and this is where all the content will live. From there, I'll add a heading, a subheading, and a CTA, a call to action button. Using the inspector panel on the right here, I'm going to tweak some of the spacing, the alignment, and the layout so everything does sit exactly where it should. If you've ever used a website mockup tool, or maybe you've planned out a layout in Figma, this will feel familiar, but a lot way easier to execute. Next up, I'll create another section. Now this one with an image. I'll group the elements together, and then I'm just going to arrange them into a stack, which keeps everything aligned all automatically as my web page grows. Now this kind of structured layout is a huge part of why Studio works so well for freelance web design workflows and for client website design walkthroughs. Now, as we scroll through the page here, you're going to see how containers and stacks and clean structure give the entire site a real professional feel without elements kind of like slipping out of place. All right, so here's another thing as well. What makes a website look instantly kind of off is inconsistent styling. 5 different fonts, random colors here and there, mismatched buttons, and overall design chaos. And most beginners try fixing this element by element, like one by one, and that's exactly how a simple project just turns into a huge mess. One of the many reasons why Wix Studio is considered one of the best website builders for beginners and for freelancers is precisely because it avoids all of that by giving you a full global design system, a lot similar to what you'd see in professional website development tools or even advanced platforms like, again, Webflow or Framer. So to set this up, I'll open up the Site Styles panel here. Now this is basically your command center for creating a unified visual language. So first, I'll update the global color palette, and then you're going to see every linked element across the website update instantly. So there's no digging through sections, no having to manually fix inconsistencies. Now this is the same workflow used in modern website design templates and responsive web design systems. So next, I'm going to adjust the global typography, the heading sizes, the weights, and the base body text. And again, these changes, those all cascade throughout the entire website all automatically. And it feels a lot like working with a professional design system, say in Figma, but without the technical overhead. And this global styling setup saves me a ton of time and keeps the entire website clean, consistent, and professional all throughout. It's one of the biggest advantages of using Wix Studio, especially if you're building sites for clients running a digital agency website builder workflow, or simply you want your site to look as if it was built by a real designer, not just kind of piece together one font at a time. So after the structure and styling are in place, most websites still need actual interaction. I'm talking about things like forms, buttons, and maybe visuals that make the page feel more alive. This is usually the part people worry will be too technical, but in Wix Studio, these elements, they drop right into your layout, and they're also fully customizable, again, without any coding. So I'm going to start by dropping a contact form into a new section here. And as you can see, the moment that it lands on the page, we can go ahead into the inspector panel and then fine tune every detail, the padding, the border radius, the spacing and the shadows, all of the things that make web forms look professional instead of default or outdated. Now, this kind of granular control usually requires advanced website development tools, but Wix Studio makes it simple for us. Next, I'm going to add a button. When we open the link settings, you're going to see here all the connection options laid out clearly. So you can link it to another page or an on-page anchor, an email, or an external URL. Now, this is the kind of flexibility that you expect in high-end web development platforms, and it is essential if you are building conversion-focused layouts or following modern website design templates for clients. So to bring in some visual interest this time, I'm going to insert an image and replace it with, say, a stock photo here. And as soon as it's swapped in, Wix Studio automatically adjusts the layout so that the spacing and the alignment still look clean. Now, that's one of the advantages of Studio's responsive engine. Every element stays balanced, whether you're building, let's say, a portfolio, a business site, or a full digital agency website builder workflow. Now, these small additions, these forms, the buttons, the visuals, these are what make a site feel complete and usable. And the fact that they all drop into the design as smoothly as they do is a big reason why Wix Studio stands out among the best website builders for designers and pretty much anyone wanting modern professional results, all without coding. All right, so if you've ever had to update a website manually, like changing every card, every image, every description, one by one, it's a huge pain. You know how frustrating and time-consuming it is. And that's exactly why professional sites rely on CMS collections. You don't have to rebuild the same layout over and over, and instead you just update the content in one place, and then the entire site updates automatically. Wix Studio gives you this same level of power without needing to touch any code at all. So let's set up our CMS. I'll open the CMS panel here and create a brand new collection. Inside of it, we'll add fields like title, image, and description, the core pieces of content that we want to display dynamically across the site. I'll drop in a few sample entries so that we have data ready to preview. So now let's go ahead and bring it to our canvas. I'm going to insert a repeater, which is basically the engine behind dynamic layouts. If you've ever used enterprise platforms or maybe headless CMS tools, this works exactly the same way, except of course, a lot easier. Now inside the repeater, I'm going to connect each element from text to images to buttons directly to the CMS fields we've created earlier. Now, the moment those connections are made, the entire repeater populates itself instantly with real data. So what that means is there's no copying and pasting, no rebuilding layouts, no duplicated work. And if we update the CMS later, like we add new entries, we change photos, maybe we tweak descriptions, the entire site will update automatically. And this is what separates Wix Studio from your basic drag and drop editors. You're not just designing a page, you're building a scalable, dynamic system that really behaves like a full enterprise level website development tool, but again, with the simplicity of the best website builder for designers and freelancers. A lot of people build a beautiful website and then they feel confused when nobody ever finds it. And honestly, it's not really because the site looks bad, it's usually because the SEO was ignored. Even if you use the best no-code website builder, search engines still need clean titles, proper descriptions, and clear structure to understand your content. And the good news here is that Wix Studio packs all those essential SEO tools directly into the editor so that we don't need extra plugins or complicated setups like you would on other website development platforms. Let's go ahead and open site settings here and head into the SEO section. Here we can update the page title, the meta description, and URL slug to make sure each page is properly labeled for search engines. Wix Studio also shows structured data options and a live Google preview, and this means that we can actually see how our site will appear in search results, which is super helpful if you're building sites for clients or maybe you're following modern responsive web design best practices. Now, as we scroll through the SEO panel, you'll notice everything is organized in a really clean and straightforward way. There's no hunting through menus or setting up third-party tools. That's part of one of the reasons why Studio is becoming the go-to website builder for designers and for freelancers. You can design, you can build, and you can optimize everything in one place without ever really having to leave the editor. Now, one thing that separates a clean modern website from something that feels outdated is how well it performs across different screen sizes. A layout can look flawless inside the editor, but the real test is seeing how it behaves when someone views it on, let's say, a phone, maybe a tablet or a smaller laptop. And that's why checking responsiveness is a must, especially if you want your build to look like it came from a professional website builder for designers or a full digital agency workflow. So I'm going to switch the site into preview mode here. This lets us explore everything like a real visitor, scrolling through all of the sections, testing all the buttons, clicking links, and making sure that all these animations or these interactions behave the way they should on desktop. So next, I'm going to go ahead and jump into the tablet and mobile previews. Wix Studio automatically adjusts layout structure across breakpoints here, which is a huge advantage if you've ever had to deal with other platforms that break your design the moment you switch device sizes. It's a bummer. And the spacing here, as you can see, shifts naturally. The stacks reorganize cleanly, and nothing feels like squished or misaligned. It's a great example of modern responsive web design without having to manually rebuild separate versions of the site. And doing this quick device check ensures that our site, it works smoothly no matter where someone views it. And that is essential if you're creating sites for clients, or maybe you're managing multiple web design projects, or you're following a professional freelance web design workflow. Now, right before publishing, I do like to do one last sweep of the entire site. Even if everything looked good during the preview, a quick review inside of the editor helps catch those small details, maybe spacing that's slightly off, a font size that doesn't match the rest of the layout, or maybe a random color that didn't update through the global design system. These tiny fixes are what separate an okay website from something that actually feels professionally designed. So for that, we'll reopen the editor and then scroll through all of the pages, making sure to watch out for things like the typography, the colors, and overall styling, that those match across the entire layout. This is also a great moment to click through the navigation and make sure that every page loads properly. It's a crucial step in any freelance web design workflow or client website design walkthrough. It's pretty much the same process we would use when building sites for clients or managing multiple projects as a designer. Okay, so once everything does check out, I'm gonna go ahead and finally click Publish. Wix Studio confirms the release, and then we can open the live website. A smooth scroll down the page shows the final design exactly as visitors will experience it. And it looks clean, it's modern, it is responsive across all devices, and it's built using the same workflow you would follow on top-tier web development platforms or when creating portfolio websites for web designers. Our site, it's now fully live, it's fully functional, and it's ready to share. After building out an entire website from scratch, it is pretty obvious why a lot of designers and freelancers and even agencies are calling it the best no-code website builder right now. You're not jumping between plugins like you would on WordPress, or digging through confusing menus, or fighting with broken layout. Everything. When I say everything, I'm talking about the structure, the styling, the CMS, the responsiveness, and even the SEO. It all lives inside one unified editor, and the changes actually stay consistent across the entire site. And what really stands out is that Studio gives us the kind of precision we would normally only get from a professional web development platform, but this time without ever having to touch any code at all. So we can build modern layouts, we can manage CMS-driven pages, and we can create fully responsive designs that hold up on any device, all with tools that feel intuitive instead of overwhelming. Now, going through this whole build shows us how much time Wix Studio really does save, especially compared to other platforms like Webflow, Framer, and WordPress. Now, it's fast, it's flexible, and it makes it easy to create websites that look like they cost thousands of dollars to develop, and all without writing a single line of code. All right, so that's the whole process from blank canvas to live website. And for anyone who who wants professional results without getting stuck in any code, Wix Studio pretty much does set the standard for the best no-code website builder today. Thank you for watching this video. I'll see you at the next one.